Do the blessings and curse exist? Let me share one story with you. Once there was a very rich selfish merchant who never helped anyone. One day a beggar came to the rich man and asked for a piece of cloth, but the man refused. Merchant's wife saw everything and went to the beggar and asked him to visit the next day. Merchant returned home after closing the shop, but the wife stopped him and demanded a piece of best quality cloth from the shop. Merchant seemed very confused, but wife didn't listen anything. The merchant brought a best piece of cloth. Early next morning the wife went to the beggar and said that her husband asked her to give the cloth. Beggar was very happy and blessed him with all the good wishes. The merchant was watching all these things and thought, "Oh God, how nice it is to see the poor man pray for me, just for a piece of cloth. Please God, forgive me, I shouldn't be so selfish." After this incident, merchant started helping the poor. Moral is, charity makes us good. But what if someone curses to the one who do not help? Do you believe in curse? Although there is no scientific evidence to support the supernatural basis of curses, but still many people believe that it has a powerful psychological influence on people. Hello friends, Yasmin here from My Education My Power, and today we will discuss a very short story through the poem A Legend of Northland from the book Beehive Class 9. Let's have some interesting fact about the poet. The poet Phoebe Cary was an American poet, and the younger sister of poet was Alice Cary. The sisters co-published poems in 1849 and then each went on to publish volumes of their own. After their deaths in 1871, joint anthologies of the sisters' unpublished poems were also compiled. So friends, this poem narrates the legend of an old lady who angered Saint Peter because of her greed. A Legend of the Northland is a ballad. A ballad is a poem narrating a story in short stanzas. Away, away in the Northland, where the hours of the day are few, and the nights are so long in winter that they cannot sleep them through. So in stanza 1, it's talking about a place which is very far away called Northland, and it is one of the countries close to the North Pole, where days are shorter and nights longer. Nights are so long that the people who live in this region cannot sleep for such a long time. Where they harness the swift reindeer to the sledges when it snows, and the children look like bear cubs in their funny furry clothes. So reindeer is an animal which is basically found in the polar regions, are used to pull sledges on snows, and the children have to be kept warm in furry clothes. They tell them a curious story. I don't believe this true, and yet you may learn a lesson if I tell the tale to you. So they here are the elders of the Northland region tell a very strange story, an interesting one, to the children which the speaker doesn't think that the story is true. But if he tells the story to the reader, maybe the reader could learn a lesson from it. The story gives an important message and a moral to teach us all. Once when the good Saint Peter lived in the world below and walked about it preaching just as he did, you know. So the story is about a Saint Peter who was living in the world, and he went around giving religious messages to the people just like all the saints do. He came to the door of a cottage in travelling round the earth, where a little woman was making cakes and baking them on the hearth. Saint Peter reached the door of a cottage where a very small woman was making cakes and baking them in a fireplace. And being faint with fasting, for the day was almost done, he asked her from her store of cakes to give him a single one. So Saint Peter, who was very tired and hungry as he had not eaten anything for the entire day, so he asked her for one of her cakes. So she made a very little cake, but as it baking lay, she looked at it and thought it seemed too large to give away. So we have come to know from this stanza that a woman was very miser and selfish. Then she baked a very small cake, but felt that the cake she was baking was too big to be given away in charity. Therefore she needed another and still a smaller one, but it looked when she turned it over as large as the first had done. So the woman kneaded the dough again and made another one which was smaller than the previous cake, but felt that it was as big as the previous one. Then again she was not ready to give this cake also to Saint Peter. Then she took a tiny scrap of dough and rolled it flat and baked it thin as a wafer, but she couldn't part with that. Finally she took a very small ball of dough and made a cake which was as thin as wafer, but she was so greedy that she couldn't give that thin piece of bread to the saint. For she said, "My cakes that seem too small when I eat of them myself, and yet too large to give away." So she put them on the shelf. The woman said that the cakes seemed too small to fill her own stomach and appeared too big to be given away to someone. She put all the cakes on the shelf back, and she did not give any cake to the Saint Peter. Then good Saint Peter grew angry, for he was hungry and faint, and surely such a woman was enough to provoke a saint. Saint Peter, who was fainting with hunger, became very angry on selfish woman, who was responsible to make the saint angry. And he said, "You are far too selfish to dwell in a human form, to have both food and shelter and fire to keep you warm." Saint Peter told her very angrily that she was too selfish and she did not deserve to live like a human being and enjoy food, shelter and warmth. "Now you shall build as the birds do, and shall get your scanty food by boring and boring and boring all day in a hard dry wood." So Saint Peter cursed the woman and transformed her into a woodpecker who has to bore in a hard and dry wood to build its house, and would work hard to get little food. Then up she went through the chimney, never speaking a word, and out of the top flew a woodpecker, for she was changed to a bird. As soon as Saint Peter cursed the woman, she did not get a chance to speak for herself, because that very moment she flew up to the roof through the chimney and flew out in the form of a bird. Saint Peter's curse had converted the woman into a bird. She had a scarlet cap on her head, and that was left the same, but all the rest of her clothes were burnt black as a coal in the flame. When the woman turned into a bird, at that time she was wearing a red coloured cap on her head. This cap was there on the bird's head also. Since the rest of the clothes were burnt in the chimney, the body turned black in colour just like a coal. And every country schoolboy had seen her in the wood where she lives in the trees till this very day, boring and boring for food. People who live in the countryside, even the small children, witness that she stays on the tree all day and keeps on digging the wood with her beak to collect her food. From that day onwards, it became a story. So friends, basically the main objective of such poems is to convey a message or teach some values. In A Legend of Northland, the poet tells us that we should not be greedy or selfish and must always be ready to help those in need. This poem seems to be warning people who are selfish that they may be punished and that the punishment may be very severe. So the main theme of the poem, The Legend of the Northland, is the selfishness of the woman to whom Saint Peter had asked for a cake. Every cake that she baked seemed large to her, and she was not willing to part with it. It shows the shallowness of the woman and her selfishness. This poem also puts forth the idea that we should not be selfish and always help the needy. A selfish person has no satisfaction in life. So this is all for today, my friends. Hope you liked the lesson. See you again with another topic. Till then, take care. Bye for now.